Namaste. Welcome to Sipping on Stories podcast, where we welcome women healers and spiritual leaders from all around the world to come and share their journey and their experiences, and of course, over warm cups and deep thoughts. Please subscribe, like, and share this podcast so we can spread some love. Thank you. All right. Hi, Kat. Welcome to Sipping on Stories. I am Sahreen, your host for today. So thank you for joining me. And, I couldn't stop thinking about this one thing that I saw on your Facebook profile. It read, I make a positive impact doing what I love in my unique way. It caught me, and I'm very curious to understand what your journey has been like and how you've been, what you've been doing and how you've been impacting the people around you or your environment. So, if you could share what you do and what your journey has been like, that would be amazing.
Thank you very much for the invitation. And it's really interesting because that's my purpose, to live a happy and abundant life doing what I love in my unique way. Yeah, so I'm originally from Colombia. I was born in Medellin, and I had a very normal life. Like I went to school and I went to uni. I did engineering at uni, and then I worked in marketing for engineering companies, and I had a pretty good life. Everything was okay. My family is good. My friends are good. But I always felt that I wanted to get out of that country. Not because there was something wrong with it, but just because I just wanted to see the world. I felt that I had like this open mind where there were so many things out there that I was missing out on. So yeah, so I kind of attempted a few times and nothing really happened until when I was 29. I just thought like it's time. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna go somewhere, and I want to go somewhere really fun where I can have like I can do things that I really enjoy, like connecting with people. And yeah, just pretty much I just wanted to take a semester off and have lots of fun. So I came to Australia and studied tourism, and I worked in customer service. But then throughout my whole life, I've been a dancer. I dance traditional Colombian dancing and fitness dancing. And everyone is like, oh, so what are you going to do when you go to Australia? And I was like, I'm just going to teach people how to dance. Never done it before. And I made up a resume, saying that I was a dance teacher, and someone gave me a job. So I started working as a dance teacher, parallel to customer service. And then I ended up being trained on how to teach salsa and other Latin rhythms. And that was just like what made me stay. Like once I started teaching how to dance properly, I was like, yep, this is it. I'm staying. So I did all my migration process, and it's been 15 years
Wow.
since I arrived to Australia.
There's few things that you have been doing. Of course, you've been teaching dancing, and you've also been you've also a mentor, I would imagine, and you also do public speaking. So there are quite a lot of things that you're into. So I just, if maybe, you could tell our audience what it's like in each of these fields and what brings you immense joy. And if there is, people out there or women out there who want to like kind of explore those pathways and what it's like to be in one of those, what it's like to be a dancer and teaching dance to people, what it's like to be up there and doing public speaking. So, just walk us through that, and, we would love to hear.
Yeah, I kind of gave you like a very, very short snapshot of my story because there are so many aspects to it. So, yeah, so my dance journey has taken me in like wonderful directions. So I started initially teaching dancing to kids. Then I worked for the dance company, and I was teaching like salsa and classes like partner dance classes. And then when I became a Zumba instructor, I started doing entertainment. So it's really funny because when I was back home in Colombia when I was younger, I would always get up on like the bar because back home we could do that. So I would get up like on the tables at the bar, and I would just start dancing and cheering, and I would end up like winning a lot of prizes doing that.
Oh, wow.
So yeah. So I kind of used like all that, and then I started doing entertainment for events. And that was amazing because my dream was to be up on stage dancing and having people dancing with me. And that's what I was doing. And I even dreamed about like dancing with an artist, and we had the opportunity, like with a team that I had before, to dance with an artist. So I was
Mm.
like, check. I've been kind of checking all the dreams that I've had. Like, was like, oh, be on a helicopter. Yeah, checked. Jump out of a plane. Check. I decided to live my life on purpose. I think that's what's driven me all this time. And without knowing, that's what was driving me. It wasn't until I started kind of getting to know myself a little bit more and doing some personal growth that I kind of set up like I did a journey of discovering my purpose, and that's what I teach at the moment as well. And yeah, I kind of clarified what I wanted to do with my life and how I wanted to live my life. And yeah, and that's like I live in a world of joy and connection. So yes, so I was teaching dance and I was doing entertainment. And then I realized that I would always use the microphone to introduce myself and introduce my team. And I quite enjoyed that. I was never a public speaker. Like only when I was in uni, when I was working, I had to do like very small intros. But then people started telling me like, oh, look, I have this how do you call it? Baby shower.
Mm.
Would you like to lead the games for that? I was like, okay. So they would give me the games and I will lead that. And someone go, look, oh, someone's getting married. Would you like to be the master of ceremonies? Which doesn't mean that I marry people, but I do say like, oh, so now this is what we're doing. And I just did it for fun.
Yeah.
Like literally just fun. Yes. And then at one event that I used to work at, that I still work at, called the Spanish Language Fiesta, someone said, do you want to be the MC of the event? I'm just like, the whole day, and I'm going to get paid for it? I'm like, but I don't know. Like the imposter syndrome, where like, oh my God, you cannot do it. So then I filled myself with courage and I did it the first time. And it's been how many years? It's been 5 years? No, 10 years already. I can't remember. I think it's been 10
Time
years. But
flies when you're having fun.
totally. And yeah, so then I started pitching my business. Like I've done a lot of business coaching, and in most of the programs that I do, I have to end up pitching my business. So that kind of gave me like really good public speaking skills. And I realized that I really love it. Like I enjoy it so much. I love talking. So I just kind of made a product out of it. And that was great. Yes. And the mentoring came because when I started teaching dancing, like I had really good mentors with me. And when I started teaching Zumba, I had really good mentors with me who taught me like how to deal with different situations and how to create my own class. And they taught me all these things. So I started inviting people to my class to come and just participate. And then they would say like, oh, I want to become an instructor. And so like, yeah, just go and do the course and I'll help you.
Mm.
And I ended up helping a lot of people first to become a Zumba instructors. And then now I realize that people come to me, like I have a big team called Party with Latinas, and a lot of them are newly arrived to Melbourne and they don't know how to make contact. So I help them with networking and connections. And yeah, I just realized that I love helping people, and I love answering questions. Like, for example, this that we're doing, like, ask me everything. I could spend my entire life doing this. And how is it like? It's just amazing. Like living a life on purpose, doing what I love in my unique way is just, it's a great feeling, like just earlier, because I do have a job as well where I interact with people with disabilities.
Mm.
I had the best time ever. Every time I join them, we do social activities. And every time is just such a big blessing. And I have such a good fun. And I go like, I can't believe like this is my job. I get paid for having fun, like that's, to me, I still sometimes don't believe that that happens. And
Mm.
everything that I do, like I make sure that I have fun doing it, and I make sure that it has an impact.
Mm.
Both things are as important to me.
It was so much energy that was just flowing through you as you were talking, because I feel like you're so aligned with your purpose and you're having fun as you're doing what you're doing. Not everyone gets to be, kind of in that place and space. So I'm very happy for you. So congratulations on doing that and, kind of following your path. So that's amazing. And, you mentioned a few things there. I'm kind of mind blown, is because you said you came to Australia and to study tourism, but there's no connection between what you studied versus what you're doing. So that tells us that you don't really have to, kind of pursue a career in what you study, it doesn't matter, because I have done that myself. I've got a master's in chemistry, but I'm totally, doing something else in IT. I ended up there. So things happen. So at the end of the day, you do what makes you happy. And I think the other thing you mentioned was staying true to yourself and stay doing things on purpose, what your purpose is. And I think the only message I want to also kind of share or give is from your story is that no matter what, I think people should actually get in there and follow their dreams and do things, because people fear, I think. I'm pretty sure, Catalina, you've had that fear. I'm not sure if you did have that fear on pursuing something different or starting something different in your life. So if you did, can you maybe tell us how you kind of overcame that? Because a lot of people don't take that first step because of the fear.
Quite interesting because when I moved here, I just came on an adventure.
Hmm.
Like I just took my coming to Australia as an adventure and I just kind of dealt with everything as it went. So thank God, like I could speak English when I arrived. That was a massive, massive plus. And I had nothing to fear at the moment. Like I was completely fearless. I wasn't afraid. There wasn't a point where I ran out of money and I go like, I was just gonna figure it out. I'll just figure it out. Like that's something that I kept in my mind. I'll always figure it out. I'm
Hmm.
very creative. And that's a mindset that I was like, oh, this happened. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. So yeah, like up until certain point, like I felt that I was so driven and nothing stopped me. But it's really interesting because now I'm launching a different side of my business. Like I'm stepping a little bit out of entertainment. I still do entertainment and I love it. And now I'm jumping into speaking facilitation and creating my own programs and teaching my own programs. And the fear is like definitely kicking in. The
Hmm.
fear is definitely kicking in, the imposter syndrome, the inner critic. It's all like and how do I deal with that? In many ways. The growth is one of the biggest values in my life. So I'm always reading something, learning something, studying something, and I'm part of a lot of communities. Like I have a lot of community support. So, and I've been like since the moment that I came to Australia, I've been part of communities
Hmm.
and different communities at the time. So I have business communities, social enterprise communities. Now I have a community in Spanish, which is it's quite new to me because most of the times I would join communities in English.
Hmm.
So it's all the knowledge that I gain, and we do a lot of self-reflection. So just like even like just this month, we're working with my group. We're working in belief systems, and we're doing a lot of exercises and we're doing a lot of journaling. It's important to kind of all those things that are going on in our heads to write them down and go like, how am I feeling? And what are the sensations in my body? And just acknowledge that there is a feeling there, that there is fear, that there is anxiety, that there is like all these beliefs that we're not worth it, that we're not capable, that we're insignificant, that we're not yeah, like there are all these beliefs going on. And it's just like get that in paper. And we're doing an exercise at the moment actually with a Tony Robbins strategy where it's like you kind of um put that belief apart and you go like, okay, what does this mean? What does this mean? What does this mean? Is it actually true? And I call that challenge the challenge. Like when I teach public speaking, I teach like
Hmm.
just like what's the belief that comes up? And I say like, oh, for example, my English is not very good, or I have an accent. And I go like, okay, how many good people are out there that like how many actors, how many actresses, how many presenters are out there that have an accent?
Hmm.
You know? And actually, we're very blessed that we live in Australia in a place that people embrace accents. You know, like we think that we sound horrible, like for example, I do sometimes. Um, but it's just like, is that actually true? It's not, you know? So I kind of, yeah, so it's challenging the challenges and say, like, is that true?
Hmm.
Really? And is how can I make that a positive belief about me?
Hmm.
You know? I'm more exotic because I have an accent, you know? Like that makes me special and that makes me unique and that makes me.
Hmm.
So yeah, lots of support, reading, lots of personal growth, like lots of reflections. And it's something that I think it never stops. To be honest, I don't think there is going to be a point where I say like, oh no, I don't have any fear anymore. The fear is always going to be there. The self-doubt is going to
Hmm.
always going to be there. The self-beliefs are always going to be there. It's a matter of how we deal with them,
Yep.
you know? And that's what I learned a lot through personal growth, and that's what I'm planning to teach people.
And I think that's a good point that you mentioned, that fear is always going to be there. So it's about how you kind of look at it and your outlook on life or your situation. So I see that you've constantly been positive, and there are a lot of times that you have felt low, but you've got back and you've kind of bounced back and had a positive outlook on the situation. So I think it's amazing. And you also mentioned personal growth and self-reflection. They're so amazing, and it's very hard for, when people say that, I kind of get fascinated, because it takes a lot of self-awareness to even say those, kind of mention those words. So, and you need that when you are out there and you're running your own businesses, and you're doing a lot of things. You're kind of an all-rounder, I would say. So that's good. I really, appreciate that, and it's very inspiring, Catalina. It's really inspiring. So thank you for sharing that. And with this, I also want to know, in terms of, if you have to give out a message to people out there, or even, women out there come from different communities, who maybe, have these insecurities, or who do not have a lot of confidence out there. So if you have to like share a message for them, who may be also wanting to kind of explore these kind of avenues that you are in. So what is this kind of message that you want to give out to these people?
I guess that like the best advice that I can give to people is to get to know yourself.
Mm,
You're a pretty cool person. You're a pretty cool person. Just get to know what's so cool about you. And
mm,
something that I've done a lot, like it's, you know how you say that I'm positive and cheerful? Like, yes, I am. I've had really tough times with mental health, where I wasn't feeling that joyful or happy. But I found things like I found that by doing things that I love, that could cheer me up a little bit. And it took me a few years to kind of get out of that low moment in my life. But it was like getting to know myself, like understanding who I am, who I'm not, what's great about me, what's not. And I remember actually a few times when I had a few low moments
mm,
where I just asked people, like, why am I good? Like, why do you hang out with me? Why do you like it? What do you like me? What value do I add to your life? And it's very confronting to see how people love us so much and value so much and appreciate it so much. And we don't appreciate that and value and all that within ourselves. I'm pretty sure that if I ask you to describe your best friend, you will tell me all these wonderful people, these wonderful things about your best friend. And I'm pretty sure that if I ask your best friend, maybe they won't say the same things.
yeah.
So like treat ourselves like we treat other people, like we treat, for example, babies or animals, with kindness, with love.
Mm,
Just go, like I go to the mirror and I look at myself and I say like, you're so hot, I love you so much, you're so cute. And I actually do, in my class, I do lots of self-hugging and things like that, because yeah, I think the first thing that we need to do is work on our relationship with ourselves, get to know ourselves and get to love ourselves.
mm,
And that from there everything else can happen. But before we love and appreciate
mm.
ourselves, like I don't think it's going to be as easy.
That's some very, very valuable words out there. And I think it kind of inspired me as well in this moment. So I'm pretty sure our listeners will be inspired as well. And you've had an amazing and incredible journey. And I'm sure this podcast wouldn't be enough to cover it all. But I'm really hoping that the audiences and the listeners would really take inspiration from this and follow their heart. And the other thing I wanted to mention is that you have an amazing accent. You're unique in your own way. So that's great. And that's the thing, right? The diversity people come from, and how we kind of get united with so much diversity there. So it's kind of incredible to see. Wow, it's kind of inspiring, your journey, very inspiring. So thank you for sharing. Um, and with your so if I understand, you have different avenues that you work with your dancing, with your mentorship and public speaking. So how many do you teach dance as a full time at this time? Are you still teaching dance?
I am, yeah. So it's really interesting because I do many things,
Yeah.
many different things, and not one week is similar to the other. So yes, I still teach some dance classes. because I just chose to focus on seniors and people with disabilities, which is where I'm like at my best
Yeah.
and the people that I love working with, to be honest. I still work with people with disabilities running social activities. And I teach public speaking and networking courses with a neighborhood house. And I do silent disco entertainment as well. What else do I do? And I teach my own programs and workshops, and I'm about to launch my program. Like, this is actually me committing that, yes, I'm gonna launch it. I have a program called A Journey to Reconnection, and it's about connecting to yourself, others, your mission, and the planet. So it's a series of workshops where we identify our values, our mission, vision, purpose, and then we get to work on our relationship with ourselves and others. And yeah, and also something else that I do, I'm a business mentor. I do so many things. I call myself a multi-passionate entrepreneur now because I do lots of different things because I just do things that are fun and meaningful, you know.
Mm.
But yeah, I'm a business mentor as well, and a
Yeah.
business coach.
Mm.
So yeah, I do lots of things. And the thing is that because like I don't believe in full time, like when I see something that says full time, I'm like, oh, what do you do full time? Because that's what I ran away from when I was in Colombia. You know, I don't believe that you have to do the same thing every day. I don't believe that you have to work 9 to 5. I believe that you work the times that work for you and the hours that work for you and doing the things that work for you,
Mm.
you know? So yeah, that's how I live.
I think you're really living your purpose and really connected to your higher self and what you do. So that's amazing. This uh, podcast, I call it Sipping on Stories, is all about getting women on this podcast and talking about what the healing journey has been like. Are you into some sort of healing and really exploring the healing modalities? But the reason I felt very connected with you, Catalina, that moment we spoke is because I felt like you were so connected with your purpose. I felt like you do everything that brings joy and it's all about connection. So I felt that is healing in itself. It's healing to know what you do. It's healing also to be inspired and people to take inspiration and kind of get out there if they've been thinking about doing something which has kind of held them back. And I think you will bring that inspiration for people to get out there and do what they need to do. So that is healing in its own way. So that's what kind of inspired me and really, I connected with you on that end. So thank you so much for sharing. I want to talk a lot more, but at the end we have to kind of wrap up. But depending on if our listeners would want us to kind of do another part, we'll obviously bring you back again, and we can explore more things and as what our listeners wants to listen. So, any final words on either you want to talk about either what currently is exciting you or what your current project is? Any final words in terms of how people can maybe work a little bit more on their self-reflection, personal growth? What are some of the things, top 3 things they can do in order to work on the personal growth journey or self-reflection journey?
And actually, like these 3 things that I'm going to share are things that I did myself when I was in a very low state. And that's what helped me kind of reconnect with myself and with the world. Number one is do things that bring you joy. You know, whatever it is that bring you joy, like even take a shower. Like for me, taking a shower is one of the most joyful things in the world. Go for a walk, look at trees, work like pets, like animals and children, and anything that brings you joy. Dance, sing, watch a movie, do some sports, do something that brings you joy. The second one is like just be part of a community. You know, I know that for introverts this can be hard, and I understand that more than ever now. But just try to find a community of like-minded people. Even there might be communities of introverts as well, like out there, you know. So yeah, just find communities and find ways to do what you love with a community. Do it by yourself because it's very important because you work on that me relationship, but also do it with others. And the third one, what am I gonna pick? So I have so many. It's just feel the fear and do it anyway. And there is actually a book, Feel
Mm.
the Fear and Do It Anyway. And that is, yes, I know that things are scary, but just take tiny little steps.
Hmm.
Like just don't choose big leaps. No, just
Hmm.
do tiny little steps and see how that feels. Like reflect on how that feels, and then take the little next step and see how that feels.
Yeah.
And yeah, pretty much that's it.
Wow. Wow, that's really amazing. And I think it also implies to people, even if you're working 9 to 5, always take time for yourself and do what brings you joy. And I think a lot more avenues are going to open up as you connect to yourself more and reflect on yourself more and do things that bring you joy. So that's wonderful. Oh my God, that's amazing. Thank you so much, Catalina. Thank you for sharing that. And I think with this, we'll have to wrap up. Thank you so much for coming on Sipping on Stories. This means the world to me. And when my only wish and my hope is that for listeners to listen to amazing women like yourself and get inspired and get out and do what they need to do. So thank you so much. I love this podcast, and I think that it's already bring me joy and this connection that we have shared. So thank you so much.
Great, thank you for the invitation, and I look forward to listening to the other guests as well.